Welcome to the Genius Way Show with your host, Ben Hummell. The aim of this show is to provide education, encouragement, and insights for people who are on their own personal development journeys. As a psychotherapist, teacher, author, and creator of the Genius Way process, Ben will focus on identifying common challenges to living a purposeful life, and will share valuable psychological and spiritual tools to help you make healthy and empowering life changes. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey friends, welcome to the Genius Way Show. I'm your host, Ben Hummell. It's good to see you after a few weeks of doing a couple of reruns, and now we're back with some fresh material. Today we're going to be talking about how to create your own personal mission statement. And so if you've been watching this show for a little while, you know that what we talk about here, or what I talk about here, is basically genius and the modern idea of what genius is, which is, in short, a collection of skills, talents, callings that each person is born with. And the Genius Way is about how to bring those qualities out, how to recognize them for what they are, and how to express them so that you go through life with a sense of meaning, purpose, and a feeling of life fulfillment, directly related to your genius. So today we're going to talk about a mission statement and a personal mission statement, unlike something that is done for a business or an organization, but one just for yourself. And one of the reasons that it's important to have something like a mission statement, which is basically an identifiable kind of ethos about how you're living your life and what it's about. So why that's important, as well as learning about what's in your genius, is because when you find what's in your genius or what your mission statement is, it's important to be able to have it as a way of returning to that thing over and over again in order to make a life change. So let me give you an example. If any of you have ever tried meditation in any way, one of the aspects of meditation is that you get to see how your mind is kind of preoccupied with thoughts, feelings, memories, body sensations. The whole point is that it gets distracted with these things, and that you need one thing to focus on to bring you back to the meditation practice, right? So it could be a mantra, it could be your breath, it could be some other technique, it could be a guided meditation where you kind of listen to the guide's voice. But regardless, it's all about consistently coming back to the point of what you're doing, the point of what your effort is about, or in the case of meditation, what the lack of effort is about. It's a grounding and focusing function. So what a personal mission statement does in your life when you're trying to work on your personal development and become more aware as a human being, what it does is it acts as that kind of focal point, a focusing tool to remember what you're doing and what you're all about. So if you go to any mission statement from a company, let's say, and what differentiates companies is literally, what are they doing? What is our purpose here? So a mission statement will contain the purpose of the company. It'll contain a little bit of the philosophy of the company, like why we're doing what we're doing. It'll contain a little bit, depending on the story of the company and how the company got there. And it also will contain where the company is going. So all in all, it's kind of like a philosophy with an intention. And so why don't we have this for ourselves? A lot of people might have it in terms of what their faith is, or, whatever kind of political party they're a part of, and, various other things in their lives. But a personal mission statement gets really, really granular. It gets really down there into like, what makes me tick? Why do I get up every day? What am I aiming for, right? And so taking a little time to define this for yourself is a great way it's a great time investment, because it'll serve as your foundation for moving forward and making decisions, right? What am I going to do? Should I go down this road or that? Should I do this job or that job? Should I be with this person or that person? If you have your mission statement intact, you're going to know because you've stated it. You have focused your energy and your awareness on this is what I want to do. And if I get presented with a situation where there's a choice to be made, you refer to your personal mission statement as your guide, basically. So again, two levels here. One is using your genius as your interior compass and your place to, help you make decisions, to help you kind of move forward. And the other thing is once that is moving and working, then you whittle it down more specifically to what is, from my genius, what is the mission statement? And so I'll give you an example. Part of the mission statement that someone may have is, I want to live and let live. Okay? I want to live my life not hurting anyone else, and I want to let everybody else have their life too. Okay? That's the little philosophy part. The next is, what is my intention for my life going forward? So another one could be part of the mission statement could be, I want to spend my life helping others with XYZ, helping kids to be more confident, helping seniors to feel like they are still contributing to their world. Whatever that is, something to define so that, again, you will go back to it for how you're going to make a decision. So let's say you're somebody who likes to help seniors, and you feel like that's what really makes me feel great. You found it in your genius identity. You're good at it. You're compassionate. You get to connect with people. And then you also stated it in your mission statement, right? I want to spend part of my life helping seniors to feel like they're still part of a community and that they have a lot to contribute. Okay. So when next week somebody calls you up and say, look, I have a new job for you and you're going to be a baseball umpire. You want to take that job? Well, sounds kind of cool. Whoa, it's interesting, right? But do I get to help seniors with that? Do I get to use that quality of my genius that I found that is really into helping others remain part of the community with the baseball umpire? I don't know. Maybe if it's a bunch of seniors playing softball, yeah, that'll help. But if it's not in that line, you refer to your mission statement. You say, it's not really what I'm doing, but it would be interesting, but it would kind of take a lot of time away from this thing that I've identified that I want to do. Okay. So later on in the show, we're gonna do an exercise to create your own personal mission statement. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just it's something that you work on as you go along. Okay. You identify things that are important to you, and you kind of collect them as, okay, this is my guidance system. This is what we've decided to do. So again, using that example of a company, if the company's intention was to provide services for seniors, and one of the employees said, hey, why don't we invest in a bunch of baseball equipment to go and create a baseball league for kids? You look at your mission statement, you're like, well, it's not really what we do. It's an interesting idea, but maybe that company over there is better to do that, because our interest here, our focus and our intention is to help seniors. That's what drives us. And having that really solid awareness of what we're doing here helps to keep everything focused and literally helps you to make progress and visible progress. So one of the things along these lines that I work with clients all the time on is the issue of, I'm not really making much progress on the things that I want to do. And meanwhile, I'm looking at some of these clients and they're doing 50 things, which is fine. You might be a polymath. You might be interested and good at all these things. But I guarantee if you're doing 50 things and not making progress, your mission statement is not clear, and your ability to kind of understand what's in your genius as a guide is also not clear. So when you're dealing with that issue of like, I'm not making very good progress, I'm not really digging in and making a lot of things happen because I just don't have time, then you're going to have to reevaluate the mission statement part of what am I doing? What is my intention? Where do I come from? Where am I going? And why am I doing all this? All right. Taking time to identify that changes the whole game and really allows you to dig in and make traction on whatever you've chosen to do. Okay, so let's look at this video. Just a little bit more clarity about this, and we'll come back on the other side with more about how to make your personal mission statement and why that's important.
But I learned something amazing. A personal mission statement can unlock your potential in ways you never imagined. Think of it as your life's GPS. It helps you stay focused on both long and short-term goals. By creating a mission statement, you identify your core values and principles. This isn't just about words on paper, it's about defining who you are. When you know your values, making decisions becomes easier. You're more confident, less stressed, and more purposeful. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of purpose. Your personal mission statement is the key to that feeling. It helps you connect with the world in a meaningful way. So, grab a pen, reflect on what really matters to you, and start crafting your mission statement today. Remember, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Unlock your potential, one word at a time.
So let's go back to that idea of someone who has a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things cooking, a lot of things that they want to achieve and develop, and the feeling of not making any traction, not being able to get any further, and kind of having a lot of the things that you're doing stagnate. Do you know how that feels? I certainly do. And so one of the things that helps that move along is to be able to check in with if that thing that you're trying to accomplish or achieve is actually taking you where you want to go, right? So the importance of this mission statement idea is that it forces you to decide what you're doing, who you are, where you're going, and what you are intending to accomplish. I mean, many of us start out something not knowing any of these things. And then we wonder why we don't make any progress. We wonder why we don't get anywhere, right? And so the key is how to identify for ourselves what path it is that we think we're walking. Okay. And after a little while of experimenting with things, you get to kind of know. Creating a personal mission statement, like diving into your genius, is completely subjective. It has nothing to do with anyone else. And most people never ever sit down and say to themselves or identify, what am I doing with my life? You know, it sounds like a midlife crisis question, but it's really a question for every day. What am I doing with my life? Not in terms of, oh my God, what happened to me, but in terms of, what am I actually doing with my life? You know, am I here to, make money? Maybe. Am I here to, be a good person to other people in my field? Yes, right. There's a lot of little questions that when you define those things for yourself, it helps you in whatever you're trying to endeavor, because it'll show you whether that thing you're doing is lining up with what you have decided is that your life is about, right? The reason that I want you to align this with finding your genius is because you want your mission statement, your personal mission statement, to align with what you have within you organically. Because everybody's is different. Everybody's completely different. And you want what you've decided to fall back on, to refer to use for your compass and your guide. You want that to be based on what you have within you, what you've uncovered that you brought with you in this lifetime. Does that make sense? So when you're working from that, when you're like, I discover what's in my genius with, maybe the genius way process. When I discover what's there in my genius, then I make my mission statement. I am really rock solid on what I'm doing. And if I feel like I'm not getting traction, I check in with that to see, is this what's my mission statement? Am I doing what my mission statement says, or am I kind of floundering around out here without much of a plan or an intention behind me? Right? So that's the beautiful thing about having these two aspects: know what's in my genius and having a mission statement, having this basically, it's a guide for what I'm doing. So with a company having a mission statement, there are three parts to it. The first is defining its purpose, right? And that's like, why are we here? Why are we doing what we're doing? And that's the little philosophy area. The second part is defining the core values. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So the third part is defining what the company's future is about, where it's going, right? So in your personal life, would you like to know what your purpose is? And would you like to know what your values are? And would you like to know where you're going? For a lot of people, I know that would be amazing, right? Because we have little bits of it here and there, but we haven't really summarized it in a way where we can check back into it and remind ourselves of this, right? So personally, what our purpose is it gets down to the level of what is in our genius and what makes us tick. What do we feel about our life? What do we feel about what is important to spend my time on? The second is about core values. So values and principles have to work together with this. So a core value for a company might be, we want to provide the best widgets to the public that anyone has ever seen, and we have a money back guarantee, something like that, right? The value is the big idea. The principle is how you express that value. And so for personally, the value could be, I want to be a benefit to whoever I meet in my life. I want to somehow not be a drain on them, but to be a benefit to them. I want people to feel like if they've come in contact with me, their load has been lightened, or they are left with a sense of hopefulness or whatever. That's one thing. Then that's the value of another part of that, the purpose. How do I express that? Well, I keep a cheerful attitude. I take care of myself, but I always have space to be kind to other people. Okay. Then in terms of the future, where am I going? Oh, well, for personal mission statement, it could be something like this. I want to become, through my work, through what I described in my value and my principle, I want to become a person who is deeper every day, who is more aware, who is, who is living their life in the moment and benefiting mankind. Okay, I'm just making stuff up here, but you see where I'm getting at. These elements, if you spend a little time with them, we can use them as we won't have to reinvent the wheel every time we have a new project. We will be able to check in with these things and see, is this thing that I'm doing now serving my mission statement? Is it in line with my mission statement? Is it in line with where I've decided I want to go? Okay. So in psychology, in the practice of psychology, there's something called narrative therapy. And it's one of the kind of a positive psychology section of psychotherapy, where you kind of externalize the story about yourself that you're telling. You reframe, maybe if you need to, you reframe your life story, and you kind of see the problem as separate than yourself. And so that's, again, what this mission statement does. When you're having a problem making progress, feelings of like, oh, I'm lazy, or I am, I'm not able to do this. I'm not as good as Jimmy or Ellie, or, whatever it is that's in your life. I'm not as good as them. That's a story. That's a narration. That's a narrative. And so when you can um, literally decide what your mission statement is, you've externalized it, and it's there on the wall, and you look at it and you can see that's separate than this negative self-talk. So I can change my story over and over and over again and remind myself that's what I'm doing with my life. That's what I'm doing. I'm purposeful, I'm acting for my values, and I have a path and a destination that I'm going towards. And coming back to that over and over again when you're needing to make traction, or when you want to check in to see if what you're doing is in line with that, there's nothing better than having that. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to take a short commercial break, and after that, I'm going to ask you to have something to write with, whether it's your keyboard or pencil, paper, whatever it is. And I'm going to ask you in an interview style a couple questions for you to fill in to start you on creating your personal mission statement. Okay, so be ready to have something to write with. And when we come back, we're going to get right into that. Hey guys, I'm really excited to let you know that I'm finishing up my new course, the Genius Way Process course. This course is for anyone who wants to discover what's in their genius, their inborn gifts, their talents, and their callings. In this course, I'm going to provide you with the 10 life skills that we all need to access our individual genius and to make it a part of our everyday life. If you'd like to know more about the Genius Way Process course and when it's available, go to thegeniusway.com and sign up to get notified. I can't wait to share this with you. Take a deep breath in and then deeply exhale. I'm going to ask you 4 questions to help you to create your personal mission statement. The questions are about purpose, values, principles, and intentions for the future. For this exercise, simply write down the answers that come easily to you without thinking too much or for too long. Don't worry about finding the ultimate sentence or answer, and remember that you can always clarify these answers later on. Here we go. 1. What is your most valuable personal quality? 2. What is the most important thing you can do with your time? 3. How do you express this most important thing with your behavior and habits? 4. What is the ultimate goal for your future? Realize that these 4 answers are the rough outline of your personal mission statement. I encourage you to spend time with them and refine them until they accurately reflect what you truly want to express with your life. Then, check in with and consult your personal mission statement to help you make informed life choices, gain traction, and to stay on your chosen path. So now that you've been through that, I want to invite you to craft that mission statement, the personal mission statement, a little bit more. And how you do that is you kind of just sit with it for a minute. And for the next week, take that mission statement out, whatever you wrote down, and just sit with it and see if everything feels right to you. And if it doesn't, change it a bit. Make it more simple. Make it more distilled. Make it so that you could say it to yourself in 15 seconds. Make it simple and succinct so it's easy for you to connect to it, to remember what it is, and to be able to tell anybody in the world where you are, where you're going, and why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? Remember, you can always change it, but you got to start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere in order to kind of make some kind of progress. So if you're somebody here that relates to what I was saying about the idea of like, I can't get anything done. I can't get closer to my goal, or if I am, it's just really difficult to get there. It's really hard to make progress, and I don't see it going anywhere. I can almost guarantee with certainty that it's a mission statement problem, and it's a genius problem. Okay, so let's combine both of these things, genius and mission statement, into your method to gain traction and identify your goals and know why you're doing what you're doing at any given time. And you don't think that would feel good? It really does. I practice this a lot. I use it with my clients, and it really makes a huge difference. It's really amazing to see if you're not making any traction, it's because you're not following your mission statement, or you're doing things that are out of scope of what you've originally decided to do. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. And, what we're going to do now is take another commercial break, and I'm going to send you on your way with some words of inspiration, and we'll see you on the other side.
Ben Hummell's writing comes from a deep well of experience, practice, and wisdom. The Genius Way teaches you the life skills you need to find your own unique genius. Summoning Genius helps readers to turn a midlife crisis into an opportunity for personal growth. You can find Ben's books on thegeniusway.com, Amazon, and most online booksellers.
Creating a personal mission statement is a powerful way of identifying your core values and principles, your chosen way of expressing yourself, and it's a way of shining a light on your personal life path. To identify what's truly important to you in this way creates a healthy sense of self and a way to ground and center yourself quickly in any situation. A personal mission statement reminds you of who you are, where you're going, and what matters to you. And that's our show for this week. I want to thank you guys for stopping by as usual, and I really enjoyed spending this time with you. And so as usual, we're going to give you a self-inquiry journal prompt to chew on until our next show. And here it is. How can I apply my personal mission statement to my current life expression? Okay, once again, how can I apply my personal mission statement to my current life expression? All right. So until next time, my friends, I want to invite you to stay curious, be kind to yourself, and remember that your genius has something to say.
Thanks for watching the Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell. Make sure to visit thegeniusway.com for the resources you need to help you on your personal life journey. You can contact Ben at ben@thegeniusway.com. And you can follow The Genius Way with Ben Hummell on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for streaming The Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell.